meeting. I'd be looking for a motion to approve those. Supervisor Benke, second by Supervisor Engelbrecht. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And the minutes are approved. First, we have reports from county supervisors, offices, and department directors. We've got one proclamation this evening for Foster Care Month, so I'd invite anybody willing or who's here to accept this proclamation to join me at the podium. All here? Yeah. All right, whereas the family serving as the primary source of love, identity, self-esteem, and support is the very foundation of our communities and our state. And whereas in Manitowoc County, there are 139 children and youth in out-of-home care being provided with a safe, secure, and stable home, along with the compassion and nurture of a foster family. And whereas there are 40 licensed foster and 14 licensed relative families who have opened their homes and hearts and offer to help children whose families are in crisis, play a vital role helping children and families heal and reconnect and launching children into successful adulthood. And whereas dedicated foster families frequently adopt foster children, resulting in a greater need for more foster families. And whereas there are numerous individuals, public and private organizations who work to increase public awareness of the needs of children in and leaving foster care, as well as the enduring and valuable contribution of foster parents and relative providers. And the foster care system is only as good as those who choose to be a part of it. Now, therefore, we, Bob Ziegelbauer, Manitowoc County Executive, and Tyler Martell, Manitowoc County Board Chair, along with the Manitowoc County Board of Supervisors, hereby proclaim the month of May 2023 as Foster Care Month in Manitowoc County and urge all citizens to change a lifetime by sharing their hearts, opening their homes, and offering help to children in foster care, foster parents, relative providers, and the child welfare professional staff working with them during this month and throughout the year.
Thank you, Chairperson Martell, for this opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Karen Zahn, and I am the Foster Care Coordinator for Manitowoc County Human Services. I also brought along some members of our staff. All along the back wall here in blue fleeces are members of the foster care team, as well as our Child Welfare Division Manager, Sue Ader, and Bob, I also brought along a foster parent with me, Deanne Sen, and we will be talking a little bit more about her in a minute. Deanne has asked not to speak, but I would like you to just kind of give her a round of applause for coming tonight and being our foster parent this month, representing us. So as Chairperson Martell said, we have 139 children in out-of-home care placements within Manitowoc County. We currently have 40 general foster homes and 14 licensed relative homes. The need for more foster homes is great right now. What happens if we cannot find a placement within our county foster homes is we need to reach outside of our community. We need to look at other counties, we need to look at treatment foster homes, or we need to look at group homes. And we don't want to do that. We want to keep kids in the community where they're going to school, where their families are, and where their friends are. So we're always in need of more foster homes. And the reason for that is our foster homes get full. Our foster parents sometimes adopt the children in their home. Situations change, and foster homes are limited to the number of children that they can take. However, in Deanne's case, we are sometimes able to get an exception with our foster home licenses if we have had children in that home previously, or if there's a sibling currently residing in that home. So that allows us to go over the limit of the number of kids in the home. So soon you'll be seeing actually you're probably going to be seeing two of our recruitment methods that we're utilizing right now in the community. Most recently, we have placed an ad on one of our city buses that you may have seen that says that we need more foster parents. I finally saw it yesterday for the first time last night, working late, and so that was exciting. But we also continue to do our lawn signs, which you may or may have not seen. Bright yellow signs, we brought some along tonight because we would encourage you to take them with you as you leave tonight. Take one, place it in your lawn. If you have a business that you work at, ask if you can place it there. The more ways that we can get the word out that we need more foster parents, the better. We utilize a number of different recruitment techniques. Through the winter, we had coffee sleeves in numerous local coffee shops. We have informational meetings for people who might be interested. We have had ads in the paper in the past. The state uses billboards, so we utilize a lot of free advertising as well that the state is able to assist us with. But we need to continue to get the word out. So whatever you can do to help us, we appreciate that. So even though you may or may not be interested in foster care, maybe you know somebody that would be, and that would be willing to spread the word. So on your way out, if you want to grab a sign, just put your name and address down on the list, and we would be happy to grab that sign at the end of May. So it's just through the month of May, which is Foster Care Month. And if you do have anybody that indicates interest to you, have them give us a call, and we'd be happy to explain the process and qualifications. But now, let's talk more about Deanne. So Deanne has been an important part of our team since 2004. Deanne and her husband not only raised their own sons, but they have adopted 3 daughters from foster care from when they were very little. Deanne, along with her late husband, Paul, has fostered many children and youth, as well as assisted their families in many things. And for them, it wasn't just about the kids. It was about helping the entire family and the parents get back on their feet. And they did this in many of ways. They loaned their truck out to family members who needed to get to an appointment or to work. They sat down with family members to let them know that everything would be okay. They helped the parents in getting transportation so they could have visits. Deanne continues to be one of our rock star foster parents, and she is a foster parent who truly cares about all children, no matter what their background is. Recently, I found a scrapbook in our files that dated back to 2006, where they were already being recognized for the amazing and caring people that we see that they are today. But that is not what this is about for Deanne. Deanne is very humble. So I was able to just share with Deanne recently that we nominated them, our team nominated them, nominated Deanne for the Governor's Foster Care Award this year. And although we haven't heard back what the outcome is, we wanted Deanne to know how important she is to our program. She currently has 5 youth placed in her home. And if it was not for her, a number of these children likely would have had to move away from the area from their family and friends. In addition, she has been providing long-term respite until an alternate placement could be found. We were not able to find a placement for this youth in our county, and Deanne stepped up and said, yes, I will be that short-term option for him. So Deanne, we just want to let you know that we appreciate you so much, and we thank you for everything that you do for Manitowoc County. I did bring along a copy of the nomination that we submitted to the state for the Governor's Foster Care Award, and I will leave that along the back table, so if anybody wants to read that, it will be there, and you can learn about lots more things that they have done to support our program and our community. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you all for being here. That will take us into our public comment. So are there any members of the public who would like to speak to the county board tonight? Any members of the public who'd like to speak? Yes, Ms. Yost.
Good evening. I'm starting off with a little PSA. If your last COVID shot was before September 2022, you need to update your vaccine. These shots are free and counter two very virulent strains. Also, if you're over 50, you are at significant risk of shingles, a very painful, long-lasting rash. I had an aunt who had it, and trust me, prevention is worth a pound of cure. This vaccine is also free. My main message today is that we should decide how to pay for the courthouse dome reconstruction or new construction before deciding to go ahead with any project. That's just common sense. Consider any major purchase you want to make, whether it's a home, vehicle, acreage, or whatever. The first thing you do is look at your current financial resources, and that's the first thing a seller does to pre-qualify you. But County Executive Ziegelbauer wants you county board supervisors, on behalf of our 36,000 plus property owners, to commit to doing the $30 million in principal reconstruction project without interest or fees on the 116-year-old courthouse before deciding how to pay for it. On January 18th, Ziegelbauer wrote the first major decision for the county board on his proposed courthouse rehabilitation is to decide, quote, whether or not to go ahead with the project. Yet the ad hoc courthouse advisory committee won't discuss financial aspects of the project / financing options until July 26th. Meanwhile, the advisory committee is going line by line over the process for a scope of work review, rather than deciding first whether to proceed with the proposed project. The committee is investing time and effort into the project's scope. Given that the next board election is in 2024, and Ziegelbauer's isn't until 2026, you may well be held accountable for raising your constituents' property taxes. I offer two clarifications on Ziegelbauer's inaccurate statements. He wrote, quote, we built up our equity by paying off debt, just like paying off the mortgage on a house early, close quote. So we can borrow money without disrupting our financial plan. That is incorrect because county residents have no ownership in county buildings, and equity confers ownership rights. Secondly, one of Ziegelbauer's arguments against the, quote, half-cent on a dollar spent countywide sales tax is that it is not tax deductible. That's untrue. Sales tax is deductible on federal taxes. With respect, I expect to get the hook any second now, but it is essential that you are aware of continuous dome deterioration due to galvanic action on the principal construction materials. such as iron, steel, and copper. I'll include the source and the link in the text copy coming to you. And so, as I've said so many times before, I continue to advocate for a half cent on a dollar spent countywide sales tax, as the borrower is slave to the lender. Proverbs 22:17. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Yost. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak tonight? Yes, ma'am? And if you could just state your name for the record, please.
Hi, I'm Holly Dettering,
And I'm Lance Dettering.
and we're just here to support your decision to hopefully approve our proposal for our rezone of our land and answer any questions you might have. So, thank you. So, if anybody has any questions on it? No? Okay. Thank you. That's what we're.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public who'd like to speak tonight? Any other members of the public who'd like to speak for a third and final time? Seeing none, I will close public input, and that will lead us into our appointments by the county executive. There's one tonight. It's to appoint one member to succeed Stephanie Lambert for the remainder of her term expiring in December of 2023. And the nomination or appointee is for Karina Agmar. Do I see a motion to approve? Motion by Supervisor Mink, second by Supervisor Metzger. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And the appointment is approved. Next, we'll go into committee reports. Park and Planning Commission, Supervisor Falkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Park and Planning Commission met on March 27th. We had on our docket that day 2 rezone requests, 1 site plan review, and an administrative text amendment for Chapter 13, as well as a resolution authorizing the application of the Farmland Preservation Program grant. The commission elected Commissioner Dysek as Secretary Pro Tem for the meeting that day. The committee conducted their normal procedural action and to hear any public comment. First for our consideration tonight is the resolution authorizing the application and acceptance of the Farmland Preservation Program grant. After the director's presentation and discussion, the motion to accept the resolution and to present it to the county board for approval passed the commission unanimously. Therefore, on behalf of the commission, I so move to approve Resolution 2023-2024-1, authorizing the application for and acceptance of the Farmland Preservation Program Planning Grant.
All right, there's a motion. Do I see a second? Supervisor Engelbrecht. Any discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution authorizing the application for and acceptance of Farmland Preservation Program Planning Grant.
And the motion is approved.
For your next in Holly Dietering from the town of Sledgewick, from general ag to small estate, and you've just met the couple. A letter from the town of Sledgewick supporting the request was placed into the record, and Mr. and Mrs. Dietering presented testimony and answered any questions for the commission. A motion to approve the rezone request passed unanimously. Thus, on behalf of the commission, I so move to approve ordinance 2023-2024-2, amending the zoning map for Lance and Holly Dietering.
There is a motion. Is there a second? Supervisor Niles. Any discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the ordinance amending zoning map for Lance and Holly Dietering.
And the ordinance is approved. Congratulations.
Up next for your consideration tonight is the Jamie and Stephanie Hetland rezone request from the town of Sledgewick from small estate to rural residential. A letter from the town of Sledgewick supporting the request was entered into the record. Mr. Hetland testified and answered questions for the commissioners, and after discussion, a motion to approve the rezone request passed unanimously. So on behalf of the commission, I so move to approve ordinance 2023-2024-3, amending the zoning map for Jamie and Stephanie Hetland.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Supervisor Niles. Any discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the ordinance amending zoning map for Jamie and Stephanie Hetland.
And the ordinance is adopted.
Continuing for your consideration is the Manitowoc County Planning and Park Commission petition for an ordinance text amendment for Chapter 13, Section 13.37, Sub 7, to update the maintenance requirement to be consistent with Wisconsin Statute 702 or 706.22 related to building occupancy. Director Ryan gave an overview and answered questions for the commission. A motion was made to approve the ordinance text amendment request and passed unanimously. On behalf of the commission, I so move to approve ordinance 2023-2024-4, amending the Manitowoc County Code Chapter 13.37, Sub 7, private sewage systems violation.
There is a motion. Is there a second? Supervisor Zimmer. Any discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the ordinance amending Manitowoc County Code, Section 13.37, parent 7, private sewage systems violations.
And the ordinance is adopted.
Our remaining items of business to report was the approval of industrial park site plan for Brunner Fabrication. We were given an overview and an opportunity for questions to be addressed by Mr. Augustine from the ACE Services, the builder and contractor. A motion to approve the industrial site plan passed unanimously. And lastly, we approved an out-of-county trip for staff to attend the District 5 Planning Conference. No other items to report. Our next meeting date is scheduled for Monday, April 24th. The advisory meeting starts at 3:30 and our hearing starts at 4. Check for your meeting notices in your email. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and that is my report.
Thank you, Supervisor Falkowski. Next, we have the Aging and Disability Board. Supervisor Wagner.
Thank you, Chairman Martell. The ADRC met last March the 28th in Kewaunee County. The Manitowoc office filled 4 positions, 1 INA specialist, a receptionist, an outreach coordinator, and a nutrition coordinator. The dementia care specialist reported an increased number of businesses this year being dementia-friendly business. They were trained for that. The next meeting will be May 23rd at 10 a.m. in Manitowoc. Thank you, Chairman Martell.
Thank you, Supervisor Wagner. Next, we have the Board of Health. Supervisor Metzger.
We met April 13th. Health Officer report, COVID-19 cases continue to decline, 7-day average of 6 cases. Hospitalizations in the Northeast region, 7-day average of 25 people. 1 death reported since last meeting in Manitowoc County with 221 deaths. COVID-19 tests are going to be available through June. The annual report was completed. It's really nice. It's this book. And anything you want to know about the health department's in here. You know, anything that was done this last year. So it's really good if you want to go online and check it out. The health officer transition, we now have Karina as our director and Stephanie has left. The nurse manager report, COVID-19 and chlamydia are the highest reported diseases. COVID-19 vaccination provider virtual site visit was occurred, and we had no deficiencies. We were referred to as a golden star standard. 2 nurses went to learn more about the HIV and the STI testing. That was in Milwaukee. immunization, I cannot say that word, champion awarded to Nicole Spivacek. The ceremony is April 26th, and the school vaccination clinics are being planned again. And the WIC director report is for March, 987 participants and 596 families. The caseload is 934. Our next meeting is May 11th. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Supervisor Metzger. Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, Supervisor Falkowski.
I have no report for tonight, although we're tentatively scheduled for another meeting on May 3rd. That's my report.
Thank you. I too have no report for the executive committee, so we'll go into the Expo Ice Center Board. Supervisor Sikowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Expo Board met on April 5th to discuss Expo Ice Center and County Fair issues. The Northeast Wisconsin Motorsports County Fair Grandstand contract for the modified truck and tractor pull was approved for Saturday, August 26th. The Manitowoc County Dairy Promotion Committee will be donating free Go-Gurts and milk to be given to children at the Egg Adventureland tent during the fair. The Entertainment and Vendor Subcommittee reported on the annual County Fair Beer and Soda vendor meeting that was held on March 15th. The vendors work cooperatively to pick the products to be sold and set uniform prices for refreshments, and there will be no increase in the beer and soda pricing for this year's fair. A vendor request for another entertainment tent was denied based on the lateness of the request and having no suitable location with enough space for another tent. The request will be reviewed for the 2024 fair. The Marketing and Advertising Subcommittee approved the golf hole sponsorship for the inaugural Rock Your Putter event to raise awareness for the county fair and solicit potential future fair sponsors. The rummage sales dates for 2023 and 2024 were discussed and tentatively set for December, February, and March. And the Ice Center User Group finished another successful skating season with increased attendance in the youth hockey program and sold-out shows for the figure skating group's end-of-the-year ice show. The next Expo Ice Center Board meeting is set for Wednesday, May 3rd. And that's the end of my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Sikowitz. Next, we have Finance, Supervisor Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Finance Committee met last Monday and had a discussion about a piece of property in Kiel. Sometimes counties and cities have to work things out for property that is not paying taxes, and that's what our discussion was about. We have two resolutions tonight coming out of Finance. The first one authorizes the fund balance designation carryover, and this is something we do every year with the money that needs to be carried over to the next year. You have a handout on your desk from the executive about it, so I am moving to approve the resolution.
All right, there's a motion to approve the resolution, second by Supervisor Bauman. Any discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution authorizing fund balance designations, carryover, transfers, and reappropriation of specified funds from 2022 to 2023.
And the resolution is approved.
Support. Second resolution is denying a claim. We usually deny claims and let the insurance companies work out this situation. This is for a person who fell on county property, and the insurance company said deny it, and then they will work. So we are moving to deny the claim.
All right, did you make a motion?
Yes, sorry.
I had a little cough, I'm sorry. And a second, Supervisor Bauman. Any discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution denying the claim for Donna Diaz.
And the resolution is approved.
At the administration building, and all are welcome, 4:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Hanson. Next, we have Highway Committee, Supervisor Droll. I'm sorry, Supervisor Benke.
Not meet in April, and our next meeting is May 9th. That's all I have.
Perfect, thank you. Next, we have Human Services Board. Does anybody have a report for Human Services? Okay, we will move on to Land Conservation Committee and UW Extension and Agriculture Committee. Supervisor Wagner.
Thank you, Chairman Martell. The Land Conservation Committee will have a short meeting to approve some contracts on April 20th, this Thursday, at 4:30 at the County Office Complex. The UW Extension, Education, and Agricultural Committee will have their meeting also on the 20th at 4:45. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Personnel Committee, Supervisor Metzger, do you have a report? Thank you.
We met April 4th. We approved to hire a clinic service manager above midpoint for the Human Services Department. We approved the creation of lateral transfer policy to assist in recruiting for positions deemed difficult to fill. That would be like their vacation and stuff. We're going to work around that a little bit better so that we can attract more people. We also approved the expansion of the employee referral program to all positions in the county deemed difficult to fill. That also is something that is really hard to fill these positions, and it was kind of a way that we can get people to apply. We discussed Assembly Bill 28, Wisconsin retirement status of the correction officers. We discussed regarding flexible schedule implementation, and we discussed regarding emergency management and sheriff department recruitment. And our next meeting will be May 2nd, and we also will have a resolution at towards the end of the meeting. That is the end of my report.
Thank you, Supervisor Metzger. Public Safety Committee, Supervisor Falkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Public Safety Committee met on April 12th. After a normal meeting protocols and plus an open opportunity for public comment, we moved on to our agenda, hearing from the District Attorney LeBray. And no better way to understand the department is from the case filing metrics. Historically, there were 427 felonies in 2000. Then it exceeded to 1,000 felony filings in 21. And in 22, that figure is 931, along with 617 misdemeanor cases and 502 criminal traffic filings. That's a total of 2,050 filings just in last year. And this year, it's on pace to be a record. For your reference data point, in 1980, approximately 600 total criminal cases of all types were filed. Today, drugs remain the driving force behind the felony filings, and cybercrime, including those involving children, are now also on a significant trend up. It may be to be attributed to that fewer crimes are going unsolved, but on August 1st, the beginning of the new Fourth Circuit Court branch, this will have the DA staff covering more courtrooms at any point in the day. A previous district attorney, Lambert, is the newly elected circuit court judge. This has induced staff changes to accommodate all the activities the circuit branches. Fortunately, a former intern is interested in working in the office. As a new law school graduate, the best place to start is working in traffic cases. Another change in 2023 is the digitalization of the current cases. This will be a cost savings as well as the creation of space in the office. Any older files to be maintained will be moved to long-term storage. In the state budget, an item being proposed is to increase salaries for assistant district attorneys. This is for the attraction and retention of high-level talented personnel. Support from local officials like us regarding such funding is appreciated. Simply, when you are talking to any of your legislators, remind them of the importance. Inquiries from the committee about the past intent to offload computer expenses onto the county was addressed. The funding for the computer system is in the governor's proposed budget. And regarding that item, as previously concerned, it has not surfaced again. The Victims' Rights Week will be recognized in the courthouse this month, and activities planned in April also include Sexual Assault Awareness Month and Child Abuse Prevention Month. We recessed for the observational tour of the district attorney's office at the courthouse. We saw the new carpeting installed at the office, and it's finished. This also induced changes in the office layout, primarily because of the file removal from the office. The physical space will allow some reconfiguration of the office to optimize workflow. The committee thanked District Attorney LeBray for the dedication and proficiency on behalf of the Manitowoc County. We extended our appreciation to all staff in the District Attorney's office for a job well done. We reconvened and announced that in lieu of May's meeting, the committee should make their presence at the May Law Enforcement Officers Remembrance Ceremony on the courthouse grounds on May 15th at 2 p.m. So we don't have a meeting in May. However, please join us to make your appearance at any of your municipal law enforcement officers' remembrance ceremonies in May. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 14th, and it is also the annual jail inspection tour. This is also an open invitation to county board members to join us. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and that is the end of my report.
Thank you, Supervisor Falkowski. Public Works Committee, Supervisor Droll.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Public Works met Wednesday, April 12th. We reviewed and discussed the solid waste recycling division. We approved a 50% discount for Compost Awareness Week on shredded leaf mulch. And we approved a meal for the volunteers for clean sweep. We do that every year. We reviewed and discussed the Building and Grounds Division. We approved a capital pay request for Hammond Construction for the Courthouse Child Support Agency and Branch 4 remodeling project for $121,778.60. We reviewed the utilities report for the county. We briefly discussed the courthouse dome and facility study. We reviewed and discussed the communications division program and the capital projects. We also reviewed and discussed the information technology division and the operations going on there and our current cybersecurity initiatives. We reviewed and discussed the Expo Fair Ice Center, talked about the dog show, was very successful, and the county fair and the expo improvements. And we reviewed and discussed the finance director's expo special revenue fund report. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Supervisor Droll. Transportation Coordinating Committee, Supervisor Hacker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Transportation Coordinating Committee did not meet in April. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 17th. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. And then we have a miscellaneous item from Personnel Committee and Human Services Board. Supervisor Metzger.
Okay, we have a resolution authorizing reallocations of Human Services Department, one full-time equivalent position, that is the CCS Rehabilitation Specialist to Clinical Division Deputy Director, and I so move.
There is a motion. Is there a second? Supervisor Benke. Any discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution authorizing reallocation of Human Services Department, one full-time equivalent position, CCS Rehabilitation Specialist to Clinical Division Deputy Director.
And the resolution is approved. Okay, that'll take us into announcements. I have 3. So, first announcement is that our next county board meeting is on May 16th. The security training that we were supposed to receive before this meeting is moved to prior to the May meeting. So at 5:30 we'll have the security training, and the meeting will begin at 6 p.m. at its normal time. Second announcement is that the Courthouse Dome Advisory Committee will be meeting on April 26th at 5:30. And third announcement, I did send out an email about the State Wisconsin Counties Association. annual convention. That is September 17th through 19th. If you are interested in attending, please let me know by April 28th, so that way we can get the arrangements made. Supervisor Mink.
Thank you, Chairman. Just real quick, I just want to give a shout out actually to, sorry if this nuts in here, to Miss Lambert. She did outstanding work for the couple of years that she was here. And it's kind of a disappointment that, I mean, there was a small write-up in Seahafer News that was like 3 sentences, and we didn't even bring it up here, but she took the job basically at the beginning or the height of a pandemic, worked 7 days a week, ensured that 83% of our elderly, people over 65, received a vaccination, which pretty much saved hundreds of lives. She did outstanding work and deserves our recognition. That's all I got.
Thank you, Supervisor Mink. Supervisor Hanson.
I just have a question. Would it be beneficial to the supervisors if perhaps you did just a short report on the Courthouse Dome Committee and what is happening there, so everybody kind of understands the process we're going through with that? I'm not saying you have to do it now, but for the next meeting, just maybe as part of the exec report or something. Many of us are serving on that, but some aren't, and it gets confusing sometimes.
I can add that to the next agenda. We'll have that
Thanks.
discussed. Thank you. Supervisor Hanson, did you still want to speak? Okay, thank you. All right, any other announcements for the good of the order? If not, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Supervisor Benke, second by Supervisor Niles.